Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Real Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. JOTA. Today, as you can imagine, is a very important day. Today we are playing against the Sheriff Tiraspol. It's for the first time. This time we'll be there in the UEFA Champions League, and of course, that's why I was a little bit hesitating between Tirol, because Tirol is from Vienna, Austria, so it is a completely different story. But anyways, Real Madrid will be playing against Tiraspol, against Sheriff Tiraspol. I hope that we win this game. Of course, it's very important to keep going in the UEFA Champions League to get the second consecutive victory in this UEFA Champions League, to keep moving forward and all that stuff. I don't think we will have so many problems to beat this team, because it is very brand new team, and of course we are more experienced and we have a bunch of players that can really do a good job today. So there is no a single reason for me to think that today we are going to concede any kind of draw or defeat or something like that. And of course I will be talking about my predicted lineup for the game today, because as you know, it is the perfect game for Carlo Ancelotti to give a break, to give some rest to some of the most regular players in Real Madrid. But it's not only that. We will be talking about as well what Giuseppe Pedrerol said last night in El Chiringuito, because apparently Kylian Mbappe is so upset right now that he might accelerate his signing for Real Madrid. Not the signing that is going to be next summer, but the pre-agreement, or sign anything with Real Madrid, a pre-contract, pre-agreement, verbal agreement, whatever it is. He's willing to accelerate everything to get out of PSG right quick. But the problem is that is not going to happen before the next summer. And then I will be talking about another very important news. In this case, is about the European Super League. The European La Superliga, like we say in Spain, the Florentino Perez project, because I think it was yesterday, the court in Madrid ruled that UEFA and Seferin had to withdraw all the different suspensions, fines that they implemented against the English teams, Manchester United, Chelsea, City, and all these teams, just because for a few days they belonged to the new European Super League. The problem is, according to The Guardian, none of these clubs really got out of the Superliga, and they are all, they are still belonging to that project. Because if they want to get out, they have to pay a lot of money, right? And although they went out to public and say, hey, we are no longer members of the new European Super League and all this stuff, that is simply not true, because like Florentino Perez said, if you want to get out of here, guys, you have to pay a lot of money. So put the money on the table and then we will consider you out of this project. But that didn't happen, and of course they are still belonging to the new European Super League, and now UEFA has to remove all the sanctions and suspensions and fines and all the stuff and all the disciplinary proceedings they implemented against this. It was not only the English teams, it was also Atletico de Madrid, and I think it was Milan as well. So they have to remove everything, and also they have to publish it in their own website saying, hey, we are wrong and we are going to remove all the suspension, sanctions, and disciplinary proceedings against these teams, which is of course a very good news. So let me get started with the first and most important topic maybe of the day, because like I said, we are playing against Sheriff Tiraspol. It's a very brand new team in this UEFA Champions League, so I don't have any reason to think that they are going to get the 3 points or even 1 point in El Santiago Bernabeu tonight. To me, Real Madrid is ready to go, is ready to win, but we don't have to have any kind of overconfidence. We have to be respectful, we have to be humble, and try to make our play, make our own game, without taking the eyes away from this team, because they defeated in the first, I think it was in the first match day, they went to I don't remember the other team, but they win the first game. So it is always room for surprises, and that is exactly what we don't want. We don't want to any kind of stumble or slip in the Santiago Bernabeu. We want to get the 3 points, and of course this team is the most accurate team to defeat him, and of course to get the 3 points. Although it is, in my opinion, a very easy task, let me tell you that today we might see rotations and new faces in the lineup of Real Madrid. And that means that players like Karim Benzema or even Courtois, like they are rumoring out right now, might be on the bench tonight. I mean, according to Fernando Burgos, Courtois will not play tonight, and in his place will play Lunin, the Ukrainian goalkeeper, which is of course the second goalkeeper of Real Madrid, who hasn't had, match minutes or games or the opportunities to show off that he's a very good goalkeeper. So apparently Carlo Ancelotti wants to give him the opportunity to play tonight, and apparently he will be in the goal of Real Madrid. But it's not only Lunin, it is also Luka Jovic, who might be replacing and substituting to Karim Benzema tonight. And I think that I told you guys, to me, this game, it is perfect for Karim Benzema to have a break, because he's the kind of player who is all the time playing the 90 minutes of the game every single weekend or every 2 days, alternating Champions and Liga, and then now he will be playing the international break with friends. So that means that if there is a player who really needs a break, who really needs to stop, who really needs to rest a little bit, that one is Karim Benzema. And to me, today is the perfect moment for it. And of course, Luka Jovic is the player who is, in my opinion, in a big necessity to play and show off everybody that he's ready to play in Real Madrid, and it is still important for Carlo Ancelotti and their Real Madrid attack. So tonight is perfect for for swap the players and see Luka Jovic in the lineup, and of course Karim Benzema in the bench of Real Madrid. But it's not only about them. Of course, if we move back to the midfield, we might see new faces as well, with Camavinga, also Casemiro. They are saying that Casemiro will play, but Camavinga as well, and of course Marco Asensio in the midfield as well, because as you know, that Marco Asensio, he really was one of the most outstanding players in the last game against Mallorca. We actually walked over Mallorca, and in a big part of that was thanks to Marco Asensio. So to me, that wouldn't be a surprise to see Marco Asensio in the starting 11 tonight of Real Madrid. And if we keep moving back, we might see new faces in the defense line. For example, Miguel Gutierrez, to me, will play against Sheriff tonight, because I think that it is a very good challenge for him, because it is not a team like Inter de Milan, because for that kind of game, like Carlo Ancelotti said, you need more experienced players, players that are real veterans in this kind of matches in the UEFA Champions League and all this stuff. But tonight I think that Miguel Gutierrez has a lot of chances to play in the left back of Real Madrid, and of course in the right back we might see again to Lucas Vázquez after a couple games off. As you know, Lucas Vázquez has been in the spotlight just because he was so important for Zinedine Zidane, but it's not being as important for Carlo Ancelotti. So I don't know what is the plan for Carlo Ancelotti to have for Lucas Vázquez. But of course, if he's able to play tonight, my opinion is it is a much better option for the right back of Real Madrid rather than Fede Valverde, which is of course a player who has to be all the time in the midfield of Real Madrid. By the way, Fede Valverde today might start the game as well in the bench of Real Madrid, and to me it is a very good choice, because Fede Valverde is arguably the player that runs the most in Real Madrid, and the player with the more distance ran in every single game, right? So these kind of players of course needs a rest more than any other teammate. So that is as far as of course the game tonight. So now let's move forward and let's keep talking about the last the last decision of the Madrid court, who decided to send a message to Ceferin and UEFA and say, hey, you guys have to withdraw as soon as possible all the disciplinary proceedings that you took 1 month ago against all these teams, all the English teams, and also Atletico de Madrid and Milan. And the reason for that it is because that it's completely illegal. I mean, you can't do that. You can't take any action against any single member of the European Super League because nobody has said that this organization it is illegal or something like that. We are still waiting for the high tribunal or the high court in Europe to rule about the European Super League organization. I mean, they have to decide whether this organization is illegal or not, right? So until that happens, what we have to do is just wait. But of course, what it cannot be done by UEFA is to suspend or fine or take any other disciplinary proceeding against any single member of the European Super League, which is of course very good news for the project and also for Florentino Perez, Real Madrid, Juventus and FC Barcelona, because that is the other thing. In The Guardian UK yesterday, an article came out claiming that all the members, all the original members are still are still belonging and being part of this European Super League, and none of them has left the organization, which means that none of them has paid the money they have to pay for getting out of the organization of the European Super League. Because I mean, days later that the European Super League was known and presented to the world and all the stuff, some of the members, especially the English clubs, came out to the public and say, hey, we are no longer in this organization. We are no longer, we don't want to be a part of this new project, new European Super League or whatever you want to call it. So we are out. But it's not that easy. And Florentino Perez, days later than these multiple statements from different English clubs, went out to the public and say, hey, if you guys want to get out of here, you have to pay the money, you have to put the money on the table, which is of course a lot of money, instead of saying anything, because this is not that easy. I mean, this is not about, okay, I go out to the press conference or to the public or whatever, I read a statement or something and I'm out. No, you're not out. You have to pay for getting out of that organization, for getting out of the European Super League. So that is very good news for Real Madrid. But let me give you a quick update on this topic, because apparently Ceferin will try, or is going to try his best to get the judge out of the process. I mean, apparently, according to Ceferin, is not very sure about this judge, and apparently this person, for Ceferin, is a person who is very biased towards the process. So that's why for him, he should be out of the process and he shouldn't be taking care of this whole thing and this whole situation. So let's see what happens. But Ceferin is trying to kick out of this judge to the whole, from this whole thing of La Superliga and all the stuff. That is the latest update that I have for you all, guys. And the last one, it is of course the most important one, because last night in El Chiringuito, Giuseppe Pedrerol said something really interesting and important. As you know, over the last 2 days has been a lot of beef and drama going on within PSG, because the other day against Montpellier, Kylian Mbappe was replaced, and as soon as he was walking into the bench, he struck up a conversation with a teammate, and apparently that conversation, the cameras caught him saying something like, this homeless in a, hilarious, not hilarious way, but apparently in France, if you call someone homeless, it's like, stupid, this clown, this something like that, you know what I'm saying? So he said something like that about Neymar, why he was not passing him the ball, because he had a couple very clear chances to score and Neymar refused to pass him the ball and tried another route, and instead of that he passed the ball to Draxler, who scored the second goal of Paris Saint-Germain. So he was very upset towards Neymar, right? So right after that, right after all the cameras released to the world this footage, and in PSG were aware of the crisis or the situation or whatever you want to call it. I mean, they try to hide the whole thing. They try to avoid to talk about that. But apparently, some people are really saying that Kylian Mbappe is so upset that he might be willing to accelerate his whole process to sign for Real Madrid and get out of Paris Saint-Germain as soon as possible. I mean, I wouldn't even rule out to sign Kylian Mbappe in winter, not in summer. The problem is Real Madrid, if he wants to sign Kylian Mbappe in winter, they still have to pay money to Paris Saint-Germain, which is of course not big deal. But whatever it is, apparently according to Josep Pedrerol, Kylian Mbappe is so upset and so freaked out, and it is not getting along anymore with Neymar. And apparently this beef is escalating in a certain way. And in PSG, the situation right now, it is critical, and nobody knows exactly what is going on right now. And of course, what we do know is that Kylian Mbappe is not comfortable at all anymore in Paris Saint-Germain, and the best way for him, of course, is to sign as soon as possible for Real Madrid. But like I said, that is something is not going to happen soon, because although even if he wants to sign a pre-contract, a pre-agreement with Real Madrid in January, the problem is he won't be able to arrive earlier than the summer. I mean, he will have to wait for summer to become a new Real Madrid player, right? So although we are looking forward to see him wearing the Real Madrid jersey and all the stuff, it is not true that he might accelerate and arrive earlier to Madrid and becoming a Real Madrid player earlier than expected, right? So that is the thing, guys. But the good news is a very upset, and of course, the latest offer that apparently Qatar is preparing for renew his contract, it is not going to have any impact in the player, because his last decision is to play for Real Madrid, and that is very good news for Los Madridistas. So now comment in the section below, and of course, see you guys in the next video.